Chapter 2475. Yili looked at his new home. It wasn't very big, but it was very cozy. For Yili, the bigger the house, the better. The most important thing was that it was cozy and comfortable. A long time ago he lived in a big house. The whole villa was very big, but he didn't like it. When he came back, he lived in Zhao Yun'er's small thatched cottage for a few days. Even in such a simple condition, he was still very happy to live there. Now his house was next door to Zhao Yun'er's house. He could see Zhao Yun'er every day in the future. It was naturally a happy thing to be neighbors with Zhao Yun'er. He didn't have to be with the girl he liked. It was actually a good choice to stay by her side for the rest of his life. When the house was just built, Anil stood in front of it and said happily, "This new house is so beautiful. It's small and exquisite. The most important thing is that I can live with Yili alone in the future." At that time the two of them could live together in the same room. Perhaps there would be sparks of love between them. She had been living in Zhao Yun'er's house these days. Although Zhao Yun'er's house was quite big, it was crowded because there were too many people living in it. There were so many people around, and she wasn't shameless enough to sneak into Yili's room. However, it was different if she lived in Yili's new house. No matter how loud she made at night, Zhao Yun'er's family wouldn't hear it. Yili stood not far from Anil. Hearing what Anil said, the corners of his mouth twitched. He was a little displeased. "This is my house. It has nothing to do with you." Anil frowned at first, then forced a smile. She said shamelessly, "Yili, you can't say that. I put in a lot of effort when building this house. With my contribution, it naturally has something to do with me." He didn't seem to have asked her for help. He had even stopped her before. This woman really had the nerve to say that. Anil continued with a grin, "Yili, the new house is ready. Can we move in soon?" Yili glanced at Anil unhappily. "It's not just the two of us, it's just me." After being rejected so directly by Yili, Anil felt a little upset, but he continued shamelessly, "Yili, you must be lonely living in a room by yourself. Let me stay with you." "No need." Yili coldly rejected again. There were only him and Anil living in the same room. Who knew if this shameless woman was plotting something against him? Moreover, it was indeed not suitable for a man and a woman to be alone. If any rumors were to spread, it would be fine for him, but it would not be good for a girl. What if Anil claimed that her reputation was ruined and she couldn't get married? What could he do then? After thinking for a while, he decided that it was the best choice not to give Anil a chance to move in from the beginning. "Yili, look at me. I'm an outsider after all. I've been staying in Yun'er's house for a long time. If I continue to stay here, I will feel embarrassed." Chapter 2476. Yili looked at Anil speechlessly. What was in her head? Why did she have so many excuses? Besides, he had clearly refused her several times, but Anil still said it shamelessly. For a girl to be so thick-skinned to this extent, it was really a bit amazing. Seeing that Yili was sullen and didn't say anything, Anil smiled and said, "Then it's decided happily." Then he ran away so that Yili didn't even have a chance to refuse again. Yili built a new house this time, so Zhao Yun'er held a simple banquet. She didn't invite too many people, only old Zhao's family and a few more prestigious people in the village. Because Yili built a house in Xuanhuan village, it was equivalent to settling down in Xuanhuan village in the future. His family moved to Xuanhuan village so he could be counted as a villager. There were still decades to come, so they had to build a good relationship with their neighbors. Therefore, Li Zheng and other prestigious people in the village had to be invited to the banquet. The banquet was simple. Only 2 tables were set up and some good dishes were prepared. It wasn't troublesome. It just so happened that old Zhao's family gathered together to have another meal. Now the other branches of old Zhao's family were living a better life. Zhao Wenshui and Zhao Wentao also started to follow Liang Jinyu and her husband to raise pigs and expand the scale of their pig farm. The pig farm raised more pigs so they earned more money. In this way, even if they didn't get a share, they would still get a lot of money. Zhao Wenshui and Zhao Wentao both planned to buy a piece of land next to Zhao Yun'er's house and build a few brick houses. They would directly become neighbors with Zhao Yun'er. Old Zhao's house was too dilapidated after all. It was built with yellow mud, so it was easy to leak when it rained. Most importantly, the house was very low, so the light was not very good and it was full of a moldy smell. This brick house was different. It was much more spacious and bright. In the past, there was nothing he could do about it because he didn't have the money. Now that he was getting richer and had saved up some money, he would think about these other things. It didn't cost much to build a small house. As for Liang Jinyu and her husband, they felt that raising pigs would be a long-term job in the future. They estimated that they could raise them for the rest of their lives. The two of them had to stay in Xuanhuan village, but the children at home could not follow them. She decided to settle down in Xuanhuan village. Once she had a house, she could bring her children to live with her. It would save her the trouble of not being able to take good care of her children at home. When they arrived at Xuanhuan village, they would be able to take care of each other. When the children had nothing to do, they would come to the pigsty to help out, such as gathering pigweed. Chapter 2477. If he could find her, Zhao Wenxue would be able to marry another wife. At least he would have someone to accompany him for the rest of his life. After all, Zhao Wenxue was still young. If he had to spend the rest of his life on his own, he would be too lonely during the new year. It was already tough for a man to work outside. He wanted a virtuous wife to help him tidy up the house when he returned home. He didn't have to do anything big. She could cook, do the laundry, and chat with him. If it was in the past, no one would be willing to help him arrange a marriage with Zhao Wenxue. Any woman who married Zhao Wenxue would be a disaster. However, it was different now. Whoever married Zhao Wenxue was a very good choice. After the banquet was over, the people at the tables dispersed. In less than 2 days, Yi Li's custom-made furniture was delivered from Yang City. He finally moved out of Zhao Yun'er's house. Anna was very busy. Moving into Yi Li's new house today meant that she would be staying alone with Yi Li at night. It was an exciting thing. Yi Li's face darkened when he saw Anna moving things. He wanted to stop Anna. However, when he thought about how thick-skinned Anna was, he knew it was useless to say anything. This woman would definitely think of all sorts of ways to stay. He might as well let her be. Anyway, he just had to ignore her. What Yi Li didn't understand was why Anna still didn't give up after being scolded by him like this. Any girl who had a sense of shame would definitely be embarrassed. However, Anna was an exception. Logically speaking, Anna was the eldest princess. The royal family's etiquette and rules were more particular than ordinary people's. A princess's temper should be more reserved. However, Anna was completely different. Anna and Yi Li didn't have a lot of things, so they packed quickly. There were only a few sets of clothes. Previously, Zhao Yun'er had gone to Yang City to help buy some quilts. When they were moving things, she also helped to move them to Yi Li's new house. She had gone to Yang City to pick out some other furniture for the past few days. Therefore, Yi Li's house was basically not lacking in things. He had everything that he needed to buy and use. Anna grinned as he walked up to Yi Li and said to Yi Li, although this house is a little small, it's still very cozy with just the two of us living here. Yi Li's mouth twitched. If you think it's too small, you can go back to the palace. The palace's rooms are big. My small temple can't accommodate a big Buddha like you. And Lu pursed her lips, but this princess just likes this little temple of yours. Not only do we have to stay here for a while, we have to stay here for a lifetime. Yi Li didn't know what to say about Anna. Stay here for a lifetime? A high and mighty eldest princess, even if he didn't chase her away, the people in the palace wouldn't allow it. Yi Li estimated that Anna would be taken back in a few days. He just had to bear with it for now. He just had to bear with it for a while. So he calmly replied to Luan, up to you. Yi Li, are you willing to let me stay here for the rest of my life? Does that mean you've accepted me in your heart? You like me a little bit? Anna's face inched closer to Yi Li, scaring Yi Li so much that he quickly took a few steps back. Yi Li's expression darkened as he speechlessly replied, you shameless woman, what can I do if you insist on staying here? But that doesn't mean I accept you or like you. Besides being shameless, why do you like to flatter yourself? I really don't know how to be a girl. Chapter 2480. Oh. Anna froze for a few seconds before she came to her senses and got off Yi Li's body. Just like Yi Li, Anna's face was flushed red. Although she was usually a little thick-skinned, she was still a girl after all. When it came to this kind of thing, she couldn't help but feel a little shy. Especially when she was facing the man she liked the most. The two of them were so intimate for the first time. It was as if they had done something shameful. The bed isn't good anymore. If there's nothing else, don't disturb me. Yi Li said and hurriedly left Anna's room. Anna sat on the bed and couldn't help but pat her cheeks. It hurt a little. This meant that she wasn't dreaming. Oh my God. Everything that happened just now was real. She really pinned Yi Li down. After the shyness, Anna's heart was filled with endless excitement and excitement. It was as if she had done something very happy and worth celebrating. Yi Li, on the other hand, wanted to escape as quickly as possible. He wanted to get as far away from Anna as possible. Damn it. Why did he feel that the faint feminine scent on Anna's body was very pleasant for a moment just now? On the other hand, after Zhao Yuner helped Yi Li and Anil move their things, she brought the two children to play in the courtyard. Zhao Yuner made a small ball and had Tian Tian throw it. She trained little He to pick it up. Every time little He picked up the ball that Tian Tian threw, Tian Tian would giggle happily. She had to admit that little He was very smart. When Zhao Yuner said something, little He understood and did as she instructed. After playing for a while, Zhao Yuner suddenly felt a little stuffy in her chest. She felt like vomiting. Zhao Yuner covered her chest and couldn't help but retch. Mu Lianfeng saw this and quickly went forward to ask, "Yuner, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? Should I call Dr. Sun over to take a look?" Zhao Yuner waved her hand and chuckled. "It's nothing. I just feel a little nauseous. There's no need to make a fuss." Mu Lianfeng frowned and said seriously, "Even if you feel a little uncomfortable, you can't slack off. It's better to ask Dr. Sun to take a look. Only then can I rest assured." Zhao Yuner guessed that she had caught a cold, so she felt a little uncomfortable and wanted to vomit. However, in order to reassure Mu Lianfeng, he still agreed to let Dr. Sun come over to take a look. Anyway, it was not troublesome. Zhao Qianfu led Daodu to Dr. Sun's house, and Dr. Sun quickly rushed over. After checking her pulse, Dr. Sun smiled and said to Zhao Yuner and Mu Lianfeng, "Yuner's body is fine." "That's good." Mu Lianfeng was relieved. But what? "But congratulations to the two of you. Yuner is pregnant. She has been pregnant for more than a month." Zhao Yuner opened her mouth in surprise. She was pregnant? This was too sudden. Chapter 2481. But while he was happy, he couldn't help but worry. She was pregnant now. If she gave birth so soon, who would take care of her at home? Mu Hin was also about to give birth. She needed more people to take care of her and serve her during her confinement. Although Liang Jinxiao had given birth, Zhao Yuner's little sister was still young and needed more people to take care of her. If she gave birth to a child now, I'm afraid that when there are more children at home, I'll be very busy. Seeing that Zhao Yuner was not in a good mood and there was a touch of worry in her eyes, Mu Lianfeng asked with concern, "Yuner, what's wrong? Aren't you happy that we have a child? Or do you not want this child?" Zhao Yuner shook her head and a helpless smile appeared on her lips. "Of course I'm happy to have a child, but I just feel that it's not the right time to have a child. There are many children at home these 2 days. I'm afraid that I won't be able to cope." Mu Lianfeng took Zhao Yuner's hand and comforted her with a smile. "Yuner, if you're too busy, I'll hire a maid. She'll definitely take good care of our family." Although Zhao Yuner didn't want to be served, Mu Lianfeng's idea was still feasible. Just like in the 21st century, there were not enough people at home to hire some aunts and nannies to help take care of the family. "Okay." Zhao Yuner nodded in response. "Yuner, it's great to have another child with you." Mu Lianfeng held Zhao Yuner's hand tightly and was so excited that he couldn't let go. The first time when Zhao Yuner gave birth, he couldn't be by her side and didn't take good care of his own child. This time was different. He could accompany Zhao Yuner and take good care of her during the whole process. Dr. Sun said with a smile, "Yuner, you can eat more nourishing things and work less. Your body is still weak. After being pregnant, you have to pay attention to your body's health. Don't be too negligent. It's not good for the child in your belly." "All right, Dr. Sun, I got it. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first." Dr. Sun picked up his medicine box and stood up to leave. "Dr. Sun, take care." When old Zhao's family heard that Zhao Yuner was pregnant, they were all happy for Zhao Yuner. In ancient times, the more children one had, the better. Especially those from wealthy families, having a house full of children and grandchildren was a blessing. There had been too many happy events in old Zhao's family recently, and the villagers began to talk about feng shui again. Many people in the village were renovating their ancestral tombs, hoping that one day they would be as lucky as old Zhao's family. Ever since Zhao Yuner became pregnant, the whole family didn't dare to let her do any of the chores at home, fearing that something would happen to her. All the work that needed to be done was done by the men in the family. Tian Tian, such a small child, suddenly became sensible. She no longer came to disturb Zhao Yuner and let Daodu and Mu Lianfeng take care of her. Therefore, Zhao Yuner was very leisurely during this period. However, Zhao Yuner couldn't stay idle, so she didn't do anything. She had nothing to do every day, so she was very bored. In fact, her family didn't have to be so nervous at all. In the first few months of pregnancy, her belly wasn't big. As long as she didn't do any hard work and was too tired, nothing serious would happen. Many women in ancient times dragged their big bellies to work in the fields when they were close to giving birth. Previously, when Liang Jinxiao was pregnant, although she was nervous, she wasn't too nervous. The most inconvenient thing about being pregnant was when she slept with Mu Lianfeng at night. Chapter 2482. But after a few days he couldn't hold it in anymore. The two of them lay flat on the bed. Mu Lianfeng couldn't help but lean towards Zhao Yuner. Then he turned over and hugged Zhao Yuner in his arms. He couldn't help but rub his face against Zhao Yuner's neck and whispered in Zhao Yuner's ear, "Yuner? I can't hold it in anymore." Mu Lianfeng was a normal man. In addition, he was young and impetuous, so he had more desire. The woman he liked was in his arms, so it was difficult for him to hold it in. Zhao Yuner quickly pushed Mu Lianfeng away and stopped Mu Lianfeng's behavior. "No. You know why? Don't you know that women can't have sex after they're pregnant?" Mu Lianfeng frowned and replied, "I know. But I thought it was just that you can't have sex after you're pregnant. Now that your belly is still small, it can't be seen. It should be fine." Zhao Yuner then explained to Mu Lianfeng. After a woman was pregnant, she couldn't have sex for the first 3 months and the second 3 months. Although it was fine for the first few months, it was safer to have sex. Of course, for ordinary people, it was indeed very difficult for a normal man and woman to have sex for 10 months. In addition, during confinement to recuperate, they couldn't have sex for a year. This was a very painful and torturous period, but for the sake of the child in her belly, she could only endure it. After hearing Zhao Yuner's words, even if Mu Lianfeng's desire was very strong, he still restrained himself for Zhao Yuner and the child. "Okay, Yuner, I got it. Don't worry. I won't touch you if you can't." As Mu Lianfeng spoke, he hugged Zhao Yuner and gently planted a kiss on Zhao Yuner's forehead. He placed one hand on Zhao Yuner's belly and gently stroked it, feeling the little life in Zhao Yuner's belly. Unfortunately, the child was only a month old. It was too young to feel anything. Mu Lianfeng could only close his eyes and imagine what the child in Zhao Yuner's belly would be like when it was born. Mu Lianfeng hoped that the child could be as pure and beautiful as Zhao Yuner. "Yuner, do you think it's better for us to have a boy or a baby girl?" Mu Lianfeng asked with a smile. Zhao Yuner thought for a moment. "Boys and girls are good. But we're already having a boy, it's better if we have a girl." "It's only good if we have both a boy and a girl." Mu Lianfeng nodded in agreement. "I also think it's better to have a girl. A daughter is the most considerate child of her parents. It's good if the girl can be as cute and sensible as Tian. Yeah. Go to sleep. You have to sleep more. It's good for the child in your belly if you sleep well." Okay. The two of them snuggled together and soon fell asleep. On the other end, Anil had just fallen asleep when he heard a scream from Yi Li's room. Anil was so scared that he didn't even put on his shoes. He rushed into Yi Li's room to see what was wrong with Yi Li. He saw Yi Li sitting on the bed with a layer of sweat on his forehead. Under the moonlight coming through the window, his face was pale. Anil rushed to Yi Li and asked, "Yi Li, what's wrong? What happened? Why do you look so pale?" Faced with Anil's concern, Yi Li had a strange feeling in his heart. However, on the surface he replied calmly, "It's none of your business. Don't ask." Chapter 2483. I told you, you don't have to care about my business. We have nothing to do with each other. Yi Li still looked at Anil coldly. "No, I want to care. Yi Li, I'm telling you, I'm definitely going to care about your business. I'm going to rely on you for the rest of my life. Let's see what you can do about it." Anil acted shamelessly. "You?" Before Yi Li could teach Anil a lesson, he felt a sudden pain in his forehead. He rubbed his temples in pain and closed his eyes. He felt terrible. Anil panicked when she saw this. She immediately asked anxiously, "Yi Li, don't scare me. What's wrong with you?" Sob, sob, sob. "Don't scare me. Can you talk to me and tell me what's wrong?" Anil was startled by Yi Li's movement and started crying. Yi Li suddenly felt bad when he heard Anil's crying. "I'm fine," he replied in a weak voice. "How can you say that you're fine? Who are you trying to fool?" Sob, sob, sob. "Where am I going to find a doctor for you in the middle of the night?" Anil couldn't help but wipe the tears from the corners of her eyes. She felt even more sorry for Yi Li. This is an old problem. No doctor can cure it. Don't even think about it. Then what are you going to do? Was she going to just stand by and watch Yi Li continue to suffer? Seeing Yi Li like this, Anil felt even more pain than when she was injured. She wished that she was the one suffering this pain instead of Yi Li. "Yi Li." Anil sniffled. She went up to Yi Li and hugged Yi Li. She hoped that her hug could bring some comfort to Yi Li and let Yi Li know that she cared about him. It was Anil's embrace that soothed Yi Li's pain. It was the first time he had been hugged like this. If it were any other day, he would have pushed Anil away. But this time he did not. He enjoyed the warmth of this embrace and his heart gradually calmed down. Yili thought he must be crazy. Why was he unable to resist Annel's embrace? Yili reached out and hugged Annel. All of this surprised Annel too much. He was stunned for a moment before his entire body stiffened. She expected Yili to push her away. However, not only did Yili not push her away, he even returned her hug. Annel thought that she must be dreaming, so he reached out and pinched her cheek hard. Immediately, she felt a sharp pain on her face. The pain made her realize that she wasn't dreaming. Yili really hugged her. Did this mean that Yili had accepted her? Actually, he didn't dislike her that much, right? She could feel the happiness of getting along with Yili these days. Although Yili was still cold to her on the surface, she actually cared about her. She didn't resist like at the beginning. Yili, I really like you. If you want to hug me, you can hug me anytime. Hee. Anyway, I'm depending on you for the rest of my life. Now that you're hugging me, you have to take responsibility. Annel mumbled. Yili did not reply. He just hugged Annel's hand reluctantly. His heart told him that he shouldn't do this, but his body gave another response. Chapter 2484. In the next few months, life became more and more comfortable. Mu Lianfeng hired a few servant girls to take care of Zhao Yuner's daily life, so they were not so busy. Zhao Yuner's belly became bigger because of her pregnancy. By the time she was 8 or 9 months pregnant, it was very inconvenient for her to move around. However, Zhao Yuner knew that she could not sit for long after she was pregnant. She had to exercise from time to time so that it would be easier for her to give birth. Estimating the expected date of delivery, the family had already arranged for a midwife in advance, waiting for the day of delivery after the full term. For some reason, Zhao Yuner's belly was bigger than the average person's. Several sisters-in-law of old Zhao's family gathered together, staring at Zhao Yuner's belly and discussing curiously. Yuner's belly is really bigger than the average person's. Yes, it's too big. I reckon that the child in her belly will be very big when it's born. It should be a big fat boy. Definitely. With such a big belly, it must be a son. Zhao Yuner touched her belly and could not help but laugh. People in ancient times valued boys over girls and wanted a son, but she did not. Sigh. But fate made fools of people. The more you think about it, the less you think about it. She wanted to give birth to a daughter, but she did not have a daughter. At this time, Qianqian's walking was very nimble. This child was smart, which meant that she could also speak a few sentences, so communication was not a problem. Tian was like a little rabbit skipping over to Zhao Yuner. She touched Zhao Yuner's belly with her little hand and giggled. Then she pointed at Zhao Yuner's belly and said, "Younger sister, younger sister." Old Zhao's sisters-in-law who was standing nearby reminded her, "Little girl, what younger sister? It's a younger brother." Tian pouted and said unhappily, "Tian wants a younger sister, not a younger brother." Ah. Zhao Yuner was amused and asked Tian, "Why does Tian want a younger sister and not a younger brother?" Tian wants a younger sister. Mother will give birth to a younger sister, okay? Ah, good. Zhao Yuner patted Tian's head and replied with a doting tone. Daoda stood up and said, "Mother, Daoda likes little brother. Mother should give birth to a younger brother." Zhao Yuner shook her head. "One of you wants a younger brother and the other wants a younger sister. Nyangqing can't give birth to twins all of a sudden, and let you have a younger brother and a younger sister, right? Then whether mother gives birth to a younger brother or a younger sister, Daoda will like them both." Daoda replied sensibly. "That's right. No matter if it's a younger brother or a younger sister, they're still your brothers and sisters. As older brothers and sisters, you have to take care of your younger siblings in the future, okay?" Yes. The two children nodded very sensibly. Daoda stepped forward and looked at Zhao Yuner with pleading eyes. "Mother, can Daoda touch the little brother in mother's stomach? Listen to his voice like father?" "Of course." Hee. Daoda happily came forward and pressed his ear against Zhao Yuner's stomach. After feeling a slight movement, Daoda excitedly shouted, "Mother, little brother is moving." "Ah. Mother, when can Daoda see little brother?" "Soon. In 1 or 2 months. Daoda wants to see him immediately." Daoda's eyes shone brightly with anticipation. Chapter 2485. Everything is going well. For Zhao Yuner, who had no experience in childbirth, giving birth was indeed a very painful process. Only by personally experiencing it could she truly understand that kind of pain. Perhaps it was because the baby in her belly was too big, but Zhao Yuner had a lot of trouble giving birth. A layer of sweat beaded on her forehead because of the pain. In ancient times, the delivery room was an inauspicious place because seeing blood could bring bad luck. Under normal circumstances, men were not allowed to enter. But Mu Lianfeng did not care so much and insisted on staying by Zhao Yuner's side. After several hours of labor, she finally gave birth to a child. The midwife joyfully said to Mu Lianfeng, "Congratulations, Lord Heir, it's a boy. In the future there will be another young master at home." Just as she finished speaking, the midwife realized that something was wrong and started muttering again, "No, there's another one in the belly." As she spoke, the midwife put down the child and continued to deliver. After that, Zhao Yuner continued to give birth to a girl. The busy people in the delivery room hurriedly helped to wash the two babies. The midwife grinned from ear to ear. "Lord Heir and Lord Heir consort are really blessed. You actually gave birth to a boy and a girl. This old woman has never seen such a thing in all these years of delivering babies." A boy and a girl were auspicious. It was an auspicious sign. Zhao Yuner gave birth to a boy and a girl at once. Everyone in the family was overjoyed when they heard this. Mu Lianfeng was also excited. Looking at the weak Zhao Yuner, he gently kissed Zhao Yuner's head and said, "Yuner, did you hear that? We gave birth to a boy and a girl." At this moment, Zhao Yuner was very weak, but she was also very happy when she heard that she gave birth to a boy and a girl. The midwife brought the two babies to Zhao Yuner and let Zhao Yuner see the two babies' appearances. The babies were wrinkled when they were born, but it could be vaguely seen that the children's facial features were very handsome. They would definitely be very good-looking when they grew up. The moment she saw the child, Zhao Yuner suddenly felt that all the pain she had suffered was worth it. "Yuner, thank you for your hard work. In the future we will always protect you." Mu Lianfeng held Zhao Yuner's hand tightly and promised. Time flew by. In the following days, Mu Lianfeng fulfilled her promise just as she had said. The whole family stayed together. Although they lived a simple life in the countryside, they felt a happiness that they had never felt before. Meanwhile, everything around them was getting better. Zhao Yuner's tea business was getting bigger and bigger. Most of the business was slowly handed over to Mu Lan's family and Mu Hin and Zhao Tianan to manage. After a few years, they had planted more tea leaves on several mountains. The business of raising pigs was also doing well. At least, their family members did not have to worry about food and clothing. Because they no longer had to worry about survival, Zhao Yuner spent most of her time with her family, assisting her husband and teaching her children. In the blink of an eye, 2 years had passed. The two children had already learned how to talk and walk. They would not stop being naughty every day. Fortunately, there were many people in the family. Many people took care of them so they were not too tired. Mother, Zhao Yuner had only been gone for an hour. The two children immediately ran over when they saw her. They opened their little arms and asked for a hug. Zhao Yuner could only hug one child on each side. Anil saw this and said sadly, "Sigh. These two little ingrates. I've been taking care of them for so long, but they're still not close to me. They're only talking about how good their mother is." Zhao Yuner smiled and replied, "Princess Royal, then you should give birth to one yourself. Only a biological one is close." Anil thought about it and nodded in agreement. Yuner is right. A biological one is good. I want to give birth to one too. Then she turned to Yili and said, "Yili, can I help you give birth to a monkey too?" "No." Yili shook his head. No. Let's give birth to one too. I don't care. I'm sticking to you. I want to give birth to a monkey for you." Anil clung onto Yili. Yili quickly turned around to escape. But the moment he turned around, he smiled. It was as bright, happy, and warm as the sun in the sky. The ending. Everyone is living a happy and wonderful life. I hope everyone's life will have a happy ending. I've been writing this book for more than a year. Thank you for your company for more than a year. I'm really grateful for everyone's support. If you want to continue reading, you can take a look at my other works. It's a farming novel of the same genre. Beautiful Peasant Girl, Picking a General to Farm, is a free monthly subscription. Monthly subscribers can support it. My new book, Fierce Wife Farming, The Man in the Mountains Dotes on Endlessly. Although I can't bear to part with this book, I still want to say goodbye to everyone today. Mwah, end of chapter. You're tuning in to the Sword Dance in the Vast Sky YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.